Hi there, this is a bimfy.com video. In this video I'm going to explain how to quote-unquote resurrect a Dell Venue Pro Windows tablet from the dead. So to start off, this is my Dell Venue Pro. Sorry, I didn't put the screen on the brightest. Here we go. So as you see, it's in working condition. This Venue Pro was completely dead in 2015 and was having an error. I believe the error was something like, wait, hold on, pull up my log. So I had two error codes. First, the battery could not receive sufficient power, which was really strange, and there was an error code number. And then after that, it completely wouldn't open Windows and just had a message when it was powered on that said, internal hard disk not found. To resolve the issue, try to reset the drive. So as dead could be. So now I'd like to, in this video, explain the different steps in the equipment that I needed to resurrect it from the dead so that it would be like it is now, still working in 2019. So let me first go through some of the equipment. Before that, and before I forget, this bimfy.com, BENFII.com video, if it helps you and you're able to get your tablet back up, please consider clicking on our Buy Me a Coffee link and getting me a coffee. You know, if your friend helped you to fix your device, you probably get them a coffee. Also, just wanted to mention about Windows tablets that they're very versatile and they work really well. And my Venue Pro is still working today. So I had a point about that, but I don't remember what it was now. But anyways, highly recommended. Okay, another thing before we go into equipment, sorry, is that this particular fix is not necessarily something that someone without computer experience is going to find very easy. So if you have never reinstalled Windows on like a regular computer, like a little old desktop computer or a laptop, then you might find this somewhat tricky. But I'm going to try to walk you through steps as simply as possible. But to give you basically an overview of what we're going to do, we're going to need to make a Windows installation on a USB stick. So in the past you might have like recovery disks if your Windows is not working. We're going to do something similar to a recovery disk, but it's going to be on a USB stick. Then with that, you're going to start up your tablet and go into where you can reinstall Windows. For the process of reinstalling Windows, because it's a tablet, the install is the same as what would happen on a desktop or laptop. Those devices, desktops and laptops, have keyboards and they have a mouse, and they can have a wired internet connection. Your tablet doesn't have those things, but in order to do this reinstall of Windows, you're going to need those things. So when I talk about equipment, what I'm talking about is how you can have each of those things on a Dell tablet running at the same time. And so that's what I'm going to explain as we go through the steps. Bear with me because I'm terrible at making videos. Okay. For your equipment, you're going to need three main things. First off, you're going to need a micro USB to standard USB connection, because the Dell Venue Pro only has a micro USB input. Now, the one that you want is not this kind that you're seeing here connected to the device at this moment. You're going to want one that has at least 3 connectors, which is what is pictured here. This is the one that I had bought before, but I can't find it somewhere around my house right now, and I don't use it anymore for anything really. But you're going to want one like this. It's called a dual micro USB OTG hub, and it's the kind that has a little switcher on the side that can switch between power and USB, because you were going to want to use power at the same time that you power to the I'll explain in the notes. But you could also have some other kind of USB hub. It just has to be powered. You can try different things as far as that goes, but I'm going to put one in the link that I know for sure will work with your tablet. Okay, then now to explain the other two things, categories of equipment that you're going to need. You're going to need a way to have a wired internet connection, and the way to do that with a tablet is having this, which is a Ethernet. I'm hoping you can see that. Okay, maybe not. An Ethernet to USB connection. You can get some that are micro USB, but that's not really what you're going to want in this case, because you already have your micro USB connection. You're going to connect directly into there. The other possibility is that you could get a wireless internet adapter, which I will also put in the links below. But it's not 100% that the tablet will be able to recognize that, and it'll work. So your wired connection is your best bet. So far we have two things: this guy and the wired internet connection. Number 3 is your other wired devices that you're going to need, which is a wired keyboard and a wired mouse. I want to backpedal slightly here in the video just a little bit to explain that this particular reinstall of Windows, this is not for if your tablet powers on and Windows starts up but has some sort of funny problem. We're talking about if your tablet is pretty much completely dead. It powers on, but Windows doesn't boot, is what we're talking about. If you have the other type of problem where the tablet powers on and Windows comes up, but Windows is like kind of weird, what you're going to want to do is go into your settings. Settings is this little guy. And then inside of settings, there's update and recovery or security or whatever that is, and you go into there, and then it has stuff about recovering Windows. Sorry to throw up a screen against a screen instead of doing a screen recorder, but yeah. sorry, I didn't have time for that. So like if you're able to actually get into Windows, then this is not the fix for you. But if your tablet is completely dead and can't get into Windows, this is our fix. And so now I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So first things first, what you're going to do is you're going to, on a USB stick, you're going to put a Windows installation. So basically, it's the software that you need to recover Windows, the same as those disks that used to ship with a desktop if you need to reinstall Windows. We're going to put the same thing as that, the same software, onto a USB, and it's going to be bootable. Instructions for that are going to be in the description of this video, so please see them below. We won't go into showing you how to do that. Okay, so now assuming that you have this USB made now, and you have your USB to micro USB to USB inserted in your device, you're going to have your USB connected, and you're going to start out with your keyboard connected and your internet connection connected. Okay. So right now I'm shutting down my device because I want to show you this as if you're starting from a device that's dead, or at least powered off. So let's say now your device is in a state where it won't open up Windows. Now what you're going to do once you have your USB with Windows on, you're going to press the Windows. You're gonna press the power button, and then after you press the power button, you're going to hold both volume keys, up and down volume keys, and your Windows button, which is over on this side. Okay, is that clear? You're gonna press start, or you press your power button, just one click, and then you're going to hold these two other ones down, and we're gonna hold it down for a little while. So I'm gonna do it right now and actually show you. Okay, so Dell shows up. Now I hold down my Windows key and my volume up and down key. I'm going to hold them for like a little while. I think they might say somewhere how many seconds, but we're going to hold them for as many seconds as I'm holding them right now. Okay, and I think that ought to be enough time, so I'm going to release. And here we go. We're now into our boot manager. Now, if you can see, hopefully, I don't know if the camera is doing a good enough job. So it has here two options: your Windows boot manager and my USB stick. So the first one there is the Windows boot manager. The second one on there is a USB stick. Now to move and select, you can use the volume key, as it explains that down here. So volume up key moves the pointer. So I just use the volume up key to move the pointer to the USB stick that I want to use to start up. Now I use the volume down key to select. And here we go. Now it's possible at this point that your device will be again registering your the touch screen. Also, you should have your keyboard connected, so you shouldn't have a problem navigating this page. But so what we're going to do is we're going to go into boot, and we're going to switch the boot option from option 1, which is Windows Boot Manager, to the USB. Let's see, to move that up, I think I just do this. Yeah, there we go. And so now I've done that. I've made the USB. So let's see. You can see there. I've made the USB the #1 boot option. Now I'm going to hit F10. See, it says F10 at the bottom here. I'm going to hit F10 to save, and then I will exit this and reboot, and it will take me into the Windows installation. Now, a nifty little thing that if you don't have, for some reason, your keyboard connected, which you're supposed to have it, but I don't, and just showing you how to do this video. If you click here, this is an on-screen keyboard. From the on-screen keyboard, I'm going to hit F10, save configuration, and reset. Yes. And now Dell is booting up, and it's going to boot up to my USB stick, which has Windows loaded on it. I'm hoping, unless I'm using the wrong USB. We'll see in a second here. Come on. Sorry to make you wait along with me. But if I pause, then we won't be able to see. So here we go. And then, so we've just booted into our Windows 8 reinstallation disk. And now what you'll do is go through the normal steps to reinstall Windows that you would do on a desktop or laptop. So I won't take you through those because there are other tutorials that explain everything that you would need to know. But I will put a link to one of those tutorials into the description and in my blog post on binfree.com for you to look at. Okay, so just a last word from my notes from when I did this back in 2015 to resurrect this guy. There was an issue that came up that, hold on. So an issue that will come up that you'll see is that you're going to, once you do your installation, you're going to have to reinstall drivers for your normal tablet stuff, like touchscreen and things like that, which kind of goes beyond the scope of what I'm talking about in this video. So Windows will be installed, but you're going to have install certain drivers and other things. Also, Windows has automatic update stuff, so whether you'll have to do that or not is going to depend on your particular case, maybe what version of the Dell Venue Pro you have. So one other thing that came up was a little bit of difficulty activating Windows because of the time that was displayed inside of Windows. Windows has a time display. So the solution that I had was to reset the time. So I went into the system and adjusted the time to Microsoft Online Time Server, and then it automatically did the activation and everything was successful. So if you face that issue, that's probably what you want to try. Okay, so that is it for this video. Hopefully it's given you what you need to get your tablet back up. If not, I'm also putting a link to some useful resources for um, people that will help you with troubleshooting for Windows tablets and etc. So I hope that this video helped you. If it did, remember that if your friend helps you, you'd probably give them a coffee. So think about giving me a coffee, or if not, just subscribe, because I'll have other useful things that are fixes and other kinds of ways of like life hacking your stuff. So please subscribe to this channel and also check out binfy.com. Thanks. Bye.